And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mr. Retroactive at Gamers Haven here in Spokane, Washington. We're bringing you live Star Wars X-Wing right over here, and you're going to take a look. My buddy and partner in crime is Joseph. Over here is going to be doing the major commentating, and I'm going to be doing the selling. So right now, go ahead, Joseph, and let's introduce everybody.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. This is Joseph speaking. We have two volunteers tonight, actually. The league ended up getting started a little before we were ready. So we have Seth flying a scum list, and then we have Dave flying a Republic list. And then we have Dave the troll on the other table harassing us entirely. So we're actually in turn 0 right now, where they are getting set up, trying to set up a game plan. They just looked at each other's squads to figure out what's going on. And then they're formulating plans, and soon we will start setting up debris and asteroids, and then our ship placement, and then we'll actually get to flying and shooting. So as you can see in the beginning or the middle of the table, there is actually a satellite. So this is the second of the new scenarios that we are playing this week. Last week we did 5 satellites. You were trying to control the satellites and score points that way. This week it's called a chance engagement, where there is one satellite that everyone is fighting for, and the bulk of the scenario is actually going to be shooting each other and trying to be the last man standing. So this one should have a lot more action than last week. So it looks like Dave is flying 5 ships versus Seth's 5 ships as well. So this is going to be an interesting battle. All right, so we're doing an initiative roll now. So Seth got a crit, and then all hits. So even though Dave had more hits showing, the crit trumps all. So if Dave had also rolled a crit, then we'd go to the focus next. All right, so Seth has initiative. So now we're going to place our obstacles. So the way these obstacles have to be placed, they take turns alternating. So Seth won initiative, he plays the first one. And Dave is placing the second one. Now, all of these obstacles have to be beyond range 2 of each board edge and beyond range 1 of each other. All right, so we got our obstacles all set up here. It looks like there are 2 debris clouds and 4 asteroids. All right, so Seth is setting up his first ships now. The way it goes is each ship has a pilot skill number on them, and the lowest pilot skill ships get set and move first, and then they also shoot last once we get to the combat stage. So it looks like Seth has 3 initiative or pilot skill 3 ships, and then he's got 2 4s as well. And then Dave has 2 3s, 2 4s, and a 5. So we're gonna have a lot of staggering here. This is going to actually make the initiative rolls very important because that initiative roll each turn is determined before dials are set. So you won't know if your opponent is moving before or after you until you already have your decisions made. All right, so Bosk and the Houndstooth is coming down now. That's not what I want at all. So it looks like Seth is setting up for an honorable joust here. Dave's getting a little cheeky. He's just setting up in the corner at a diagonal. All right, so now we set dials for the first round. Initiative was already determined before the game started for this first round and this first round only. Once everyone is ready, they're going to actually reveal their dials. We'll move the ships and see if anyone can shoot. If no one is able to shoot, then we will go to the cleanup phase and start the next round. And the next round will start with another initiative roll, then dials, then a systems phase where you could drop bombs and stuff if you have. Seth is cheating already by putting his ships wherever he wants. We're just harassing Seth here. This is all just for fun and games. So this is actually an exhibition match. We have our league going on here at the Gamers Haven right now, but most of the league opponents were already busy, and we had a walk-in. So we had 2 free players. We just asked them, slapped them on a table, and we're going. All right, looks like dials are set. So Seth is going to move the TIE Fighter first, and it looks like he's going to be doing a 2 straight. 1 and 2 are on the left, 3, 4, and 5. He's using my maneuver here, so he's unfamiliar with my setup. So I think this match is really going to epitomize how Spokane plays. Most players here are doing it just for fun. We're just here to kill stuff and have fun. So we got a 2 straight coming out of the Hawk as well. Looks like Seth is waiting to try and make an engagement for next round. All right, so Seth used one of his secret cards with Zam. I'm actually not sure what these secret cards do. So for a surprise. But one thing I love about the Scum faction is that there's just so many different interactions that they're able to do. That it's very hard to find 2 squads that are the exact same because they have so much different spices and seasonings that they can throw in to make it their own. So we got Mana Root 2 forward as well. Kind of staying with the same theme of holding off on fighting until next round, hopefully. That's all of Seth's threes. We're going to be moving on to Dave's threes here. He's doing a 1-4. So for those keeping score at home, that is a 3 total forward for Seth. You got a 2 ship length movement and a 1 ship length there for 3 ship lengths. And then Dave is moved 1.5 with that medium-sized base ship. So maybe interesting to, or you might find it weird that I am mentioning this, but what that total is is that is going to be a 2.5 total for Dave and a 3 for Seth. So what that puts us at is at a 5.5. And there is what's called the rule of 11, where if you line up in front of each other like they did, and then you move 7 ship lengths, that is the distance that it takes in order to be able to start shooting at each other. So that's how I know that they're not going to be actually fighting this round. It's because they're only at 5.5 currently. So it's likely that they are going to be engaging next round. There is a possibility they may not, but seems unlikely. All right, and we got a 3 forward coming out of the Hawk over here. Looks like he's just going to be leapfrog ships, that way they don't run into each other. So I missed this other ship here. The 5 is going to be just doing a 1 straight. All right, so he used a coordinate to give Oddball a 1 forward. So that's actually before his maneuver. That was an action. So it was with the boost. He won't be able to boost later. But in this first round, it's probably not going to matter. So we got a 3 forward here. So 3 and 1, that's 4. Plus that's 3. We're still at 7. So we are not going to be in range for shooting. So big shout out to Dave here as well, actually, because he wasn't even knowing that he was going to be playing on stream. I was going to be filling in. And when I was setting my stuff up, he walked in the door and spared me from having to get my butt whooped on stream. So appreciate you, Dave. What are you doing? I put the damage cards on. All right, so we got a makeshift target lock here on number 16. So Dave is pulling one of my favorite tricks, actually target locking your own ships. Normally, you want to target lock your opponent, so that way you can reroll your offensive dice. My favorite way to do this is actually with the droid M9G8. So you can target lock your own ship and force them to reroll one of their offensive dice. So it gives you even more offense. And I love doing that on turn 1 because you're not missing an action at all anyways. You're going to be going slow and no fighting, so you get to save your action for when it matters. So we are all done with movement. Now we are checking for... Technically, we should have been engagement, but nobody was in thin distance to engage, so there we were just measuring for the satellite. So if anyone was within range 2, they could actually score 1 free point just for being within range 2. Now, if multiple people are within range 2, it's going to be whoever has the most ships is considered having control of the of the satellite. Now, these large and medium-sized ships are worth 2, and the small ships are only worth 1. So now we're doing the end phase. So Seth is cleaning up his excess tokens that did not get used. And those are all the round green tokens. And then Dave is actually doing a barrel roll with one of his ship's abilities. Hawk is giving a strain to Oddball so that way he can barrel roll. Strains are going to remain because they are red tokens. Now, if they do a blue maneuver, though, that can remove it. So it looks like those strains are probably going to come off for free. So he got the advantage without any real disadvantage. Hope the players forgot to roll for initiative. No, that's right. I am wrong. Look at that. So you set tiles and then roll initiative. So I'm still used to the old rules. Although they did forget to change the round counter to number 2. There we go. It is round 2. I'm not sure what the max rounds are. All right, so it sounds like 12 rounds is the maximum amount of rounds. So, oh, Seth forgot to remove his focus token. Again, he's cheating on stream. All right, so we are almost at dials down, which will then have the initiative roll. So what I would do if I were Dave is I would take oddball here, which is on the far, be my right hand side. So the ship that's the furthest ahead for David. And I would actually do it. I could one bank next round if maybe take a pot fighter and then come in hard afterwards. And then kind of do the same thing is just slowly move my other ships forward. He's probably gonna want to continue doing straight maneuvers, get the joust set up here. And then he's probably gonna want to take a 2 bank in and maybe barrel roll with mana rule if he's able. Otherwise, maybe just go like a 3 straight and flank from there. All right, so Dave ended up doing a bank, so that way he can come out and try and take on Mana Root right away. It's like we're trying to flank around the outside of the debris. All right, so it looks like Dave won the initiative roll here. So Seth is doing like I thought he would. He's just doing a couple straight maneuvers, trying to set up that joust, get multiple guns shooting at the same guy, hopefully. You can concentrate your firepower and destroy one ship. That might give you an advantage going forward. Hopefully you don't take too much damage in return, though. So we're going to barrel roll to the left of this rock. This is going to... He's going to have less dice modifications this round, but that'll set him up for a better position next round. That way he doesn't have to worry about the obstacle next round. No, not 3 straight. So we got a 3 straight coming out of the Hawk. It's kind of funny, both players have a Hawk. One in name and one in ship. So we're going to take a focus token. So I don't know if you noticed this or if you know, but on the dice here, we see the red dice. There are little stars. Those are considered hit results. There's an eyeball that focus, and then there is a blank result. So what this focus token does is when you spend it, you can turn every eyeball result to a hit if you're on offense, or vice versa. On the green, there's a little squiggly line that is an evade. Then there is the eyeball, which is the focus. So when you're on defense, you can spend the focus to turn eyeballs that you rolled to evades. So we got our 4s going now. So we're doing a 2 straight here. And then Hawk is doing a 2 bank here. We're going to have actually multiple different jousts here going on. This is interesting. Typically, in a joust, you see all ships line up, and then they go at each other, all in one big scrum right at the beginning. But we actually have looks like three different jousts going right now. So we have the Ark on the far left, shooting into the Manaroo, which is the ship that looks like a half moon. Then we have the joust right in the center lane. Looks like Dave's one ship versus Seth's likely three. And then we have the TIE Fighter versus the Lat and the other little ship, which I believe is Oddball. So up for the honorable joust. And so after this first round of engagements, it's going to start getting interesting because then I have to start weaving in and out and worrying about who they're going to run into.
And want to go up there and welcome everybody here to Gamers Haven. Who's going up there to actually hosting this wonderful league of Star Wars League here. So what we'd like you to do is come on down and enjoy. There's a lot of great card games. There's also board games, everything from Warhammer, of course, X-Wing, Marvel here. I mean, there's just a lot of things coming down. They're playing Magic right now. I mean, if you guys want to come down and join, please come down here at Gamers Haven, 1403 West Broadway here in Spokane, Washington. And wanted to let you know this is also brought to you by Mr. Retroactive. And I'm going to give it back to Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, for commentating.
All right, thank you for that. So it looks like Oddball is doing a bank, and he came in a little faster than I was anticipating, but I'm familiar with the ship style. Maybe they don't have the one. But same sort of concept applies that he's going to be slowly moving in to the left. He didn't want to hard in, set himself up for potential failure. So he has a range 2 shot. So we are shooting, it sounded like a proton torpedo. He's got the focus. May hurt Seth here. So it looks like the roll is 3 natural hits, a blank. All right, so we're spinning a ship ability to reroll. We got a focus. So we'll spin the focus and then using proton torpedoes to turn one of those hits into a crit. So 3 hits and a crit coming into the TIE Fighter. And we got 2 evades. That's actually a really good roll. So we were talking about the dice earlier. The green dice have 3 natural evades, 2 focus, and 3 blanks. So mathematically, Seth should have had 1 evade out of that roll. So that actually saved him 1 hit point. So he took a hit and a crit. And it looks like the crit was weapons failure, which is unfortunate because Seth yet. So now when he activates the shoot, he's going to end up only throwing 1 dice at his opponent instead of the normal 2. And Seth just gave the tear down his face. For you, Seth. And he's shooting with 4 that same TIE Fighter. We got 2 hits and a focus for. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 1 hit. Spent the focus to turn the focus roll into a hit and 2 crits. So it was outside the box. We're gonna reroll. Ended up getting 2 hits and a focus. So again, it was good results, but not enough. That is still a better. All right, yeah. So we got actually 2 walk-ins. We have a league scheduled tonight, so Seth's league opponent wasn't able to show up. So Seth is flying the Scum, which is on the camera here real quick. Is on the bottom side of the screen flying Scum, and then we have Dave flying on the upper side of the screen currently, and he's in the Republic. So since Dave took out a TIE Fighter, points already, so it is now 2-0 because All right, so Seth is taking another point of damage here. That looks like that was onto the Hawk, which is the number 3 ship right in the middle. Bosk is starting to shoot. He's the heavy hitter. So now we're measuring to see who he's able to shoot at, and you get to measure everyone. So it looks like the shot into Hawk is range 2 obstructed. So obstructed means that your opponent, the defender, gets 1 extra green dice because it's harder to hit you. However, Seth is electing to take the shot because he has the... Oh, we got strain here. It's actually going to cancel out that bonus green dice. So Seth is choosing shot though because he has trick shot, which allows him to roll 1 extra attack dice. So we got 1 hit and 1 crit. So he's going to use his Greedo ability, and that creates 2 crits. So Bosk has an interesting ability that if a crit goes through, he can turn that 1 crit into 2 regular hits instead. So that's exactly what Seth did. Is Seth put in the 1 crit, turned it into 2 damage. So Hawk is now shields down. He has 2 hit. I'm sorry. He has 8 whole points left, so he's still a ways away from dying. So we got Seth's 3 dice attack. It looked like it was obstructed. We got a focus hit and a crit. We're spending the focus for 2 hits and a crit. We got 1 evade and a focus result. So now we're deciding, do we want to... He has shields. So he's electing to focus result. It means he won't have it for offense. However, he is not risking it. He did not roll a focus result on the offensive attack. He would not be able to spin the focus at all, so might as well get the guaranteed use out of it. So when we were moving with lowest initiative ship first, lowest pilot skill ship first, and then the highest pilot skill ship moves last. When we're shooting, we actually reverse that. So the highest pilot skill gets to shoot first, and then the lowest pilot skill ship gets to shoot last. That is beneficial to be really high pilot skill because you get to see where everyone goes before you reposition after your maneuver. But on top of that, you also get to shoot first and potentially kill your opponent before you shoot at all. I am a firm believer of the best offense or best defense is a grid offense. If you can kill a ship before they get to shoot, you do not have to defend at all. So we got a range 3 obstructed shot coming in. It looks like it should be 2 red dice. Seth is actually going to get 2 additional green dice here. So it's 1 hit and 1 evade. Washes out, no damage. So we got our Seth's 3s coming in. So it's going to be a standard shot, range 2 from Mana Root into the Arc. So, we got a focus is spent for 1 hit and 2 crits, and a focus, so takes all three to shields. So the crits do not come into play here because he had shields available. The shields protect you from having to take a crit. So a crit is actually one of the damage cards, but you flip it face up. Worst damage card, realistically, is the direct hit, but there are some others that have interesting interactions, like Seth's earlier that he took was weapons failure. You could also get blinded pilot, so you can't modify your attack dice. There's damage engines, which make it harder for you to turn, that sort of stuff. So crits in general are very bad. Like all the shooting is done, we are moving into the cleanup. Seth said that his Hawk is going to spend his charges and keep his focus token, so he'll actually have a bonus focus next round. We have childish jokes going on now.
Remember, this used to be a preschool game.
All right, so we are back to dials. So coming raise, it's actually going to be a little interesting. I'm gonna walk away a little so uh, interact with the players and change their minds any. So we have some interesting decisions that are going to have to be made here. So I think Dave has got a good setup here with oddball on the far right hand side. I think what I would do is probably again do that one bank or a one or two bank in whatever his dial is, so that way he can continue shooting at Bosk. It seems like it's going to be a good choice. And then I would probably do a two hard and just focus fire right there. And kind of same thing with the others. Keep trying to focus all their fire into Bosk, which is ship on the left, I believe it would be for you. It's the one with the big orange. I mean, it's the big brown space slug. But for Seth, he's probably going to want to roll in slow. Bosk has a really wide firing angle, so he can actually shoot 180 degrees where everyone else is only able to shoot at the 90 degrees right out their front. So he's probably going to want to roll in slow and just blast whoever gets in front of him. And then probably do the same sort of thing with his other ships. Is he's going to want to turn in and try and focus that fire. Seth is set down early because he has one less ship. It makes his decision making process a little bit easier. I'm trolling him a little here, staring him in the eyes lovingly, but no response back. It hurts my soul. At least I'm calling him the right name this week. All right, so dials are set. So we're rolling for initiative, and then after initiative roll, then we do systems phase. So Seth has a crit, and with that, going to win initiative. So Seth's threes are going to move before Dave's. So we are spinning a token. Three calculates. So a calculate is interesting. They're kind of like mini focus tokens. So when you spin calculate, you get to change one dice result per calculate spent, and they have to be focus results. We got a white four straight coming out of here because he's using a weird droid. All right, so we got a four straight. He's just flying right on by. So the arc is going to be able to take a shot out the rear here. Trying to see how many dice that is. I believe it's a two dice attack out the rear, but I'm not overly familiar with the arcs. Okay, it looks like it is a dice attack out the rear. So Seth has a little bonus there, is that it's not the 3 dice attack. He will get a 3rd dice because it's range. It looks like the Starfire is actually just out of range. Oh, so hopefully Manaroo even has a shot. Oh no, Seth flew on top of a rock, so he landed on the rock even. That's even worse. So when you fly over a rock in this game, you take 1 guaranteed point of damage. Then he's going to roll a dice, and on a hit or a crit, he suffers an extra point of damage. Could potentially 2 free damage here. Since he's not going to take an action, and also shoot, and it's on the rock, he does not get to shoot at all. That's a brutal position for Seth to be in right now. We got a 2 hard turn coming in. They're going to be putting lots of guns in here onto his hawk. I don't know if he has an angle there though, but if not, he has one Fang Fighter, which is the ship sitting on top of the rock. Now would actually be a really good time to try and take off that Fang Fighter. Fang Fighters are brutal at range 1. Still got another target lock coming in here onto Bosk as well. Alright, so that's all the 4s. Oh no, I apologize. We have Hawk coming in here. Initiative 4. Oh, he's doing a 3 straight? That's a little bit different than I was expecting. That comes up my plan for oddball here as well, as I was going to be doing the 1 bank. Now he's right in the middle of the way, so just goes to show I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a rebel player. I know what these ships do all that well. So I'm kind of learning this as you are. So focus token that's coming in onto oddball. And he's doing a 5 straight. He's just boogieing out of there. Looks like he's going to be trying to set up a flank next round. So one difficulty with this game is you are using 3D objects to move and mark. So sometimes it's not all that clean. There are clean ways to do it, but since we're just playing a casual game, we're not going to put in the effort. It's all for fun here tonight. It's not a tournament. We don't need to get all technical. I'm getting spectators joining me now. Jimmy looks like his game is done. How'd it go, Jimmy?
We went to time.
Round 9? Is only 9 rounds? Is it this scenario or
12 rounds,
okay.
But we went to time before we got to 12 rounds.
Gotcha. So it's time or rounds then at this point for league? Gotcha.
17 to 7.
Ooh, 17 to 7. All right, so one league game is done. It looks like the other wrapping up here pretty soon too. We got a close game here, Jimmy. Seth is down 2 points to nothing right now. I guess I said that backwards. Winning by 2 points. All right, so we got a double modded proton torpedo coming in. We got 2 hits of focus, spinning the target lock, spin the focus. So that's going to be 3 hits and a crit total coming into that Fang Fighter sitting on the rock. Very likely could be a dead thing. 1 evade, so he's taking 3 hits. So 1 hit. No, you only take 2. 2 hits and a crit. There you go. Third one, missile fire. then he could have turned the crit into 2 hits. All right, so Dave is going to be returning fire here with his pilot skill 4s. So the question is, how does Concordia face-off work? And it's if you are in your opponent's front forward arc and range 1, then that Fang Fighter gets to turn any 1 green dice into an evade for free. And that's one reason why the Fang is so brutal. Tip put Fearless on them as well. And if you are able to shoot the person who's getting shot, you get bonus offensive dice and you get the free evade. So he's going to be taking a shot into the Fang Fighter. The other thing I don't know if they really looked into is Seth's ship is actually possibly flying over the asteroid. If that asteroid won't, he will be taking 1 point of damage and die guaranteed. So Dave needs to determine, is he going to hit that again? If he is, then he if he is not, then he may want to try and secure the kill. I'm going to come back to the table where I didn't influence decision making. We got more tears coming out of Seth's face. Dave just explained that the Fang Fighter is dead. I walked away, so I didn't impact the decision. He came to the same decision anyway. So, how you doing, Bob? I know you guys don't know, but Bob is actually the owner of the Gamers Haven here. You just walked by. I'm pretty good friends with Bob. He's a great guy. He's actually going to be working with us to try and set up some permanent streaming equipment so we can hang up our gear here. He's looking to start streaming Magic events, Warhammer, X-Wing, Armada, Marvel Crisis Protocol, pretty much anything that he has at the store, he's going to be hoping to stream eventually. So it's getting pretty exciting over here at the Gamers Haven. I'm really looking forward to when we hold a tournament here, because not only does the Gamers Haven have a great playing space, but there's a restaurant attached to the building. So all we have to do is walk downstairs. We can order some nice Creole food and fill our tummies up before our next match. Oh, wait, no. All right, so out the rear, it's a range 1 shot. 2 hits and a focus. Spin the focus for 3 hits. Seth has 2 green dice coming back. Rolls 1 evade, so he saves 1 point of damage there. So he takes 2 points to shields. Got another dice roll here. We got 2 hits and a crit for free. The returning is 1 evade. So 2 hits, 1 hit to shield, and then the crit. The crit is stun pilot. If Seth were to fly that ship over a rock or a debris or land on it again, kind of like a dummy, then he's going to take 1 extra free point of damage. So let's hope Seth learned his lesson and doesn't for any more obstacles with that the hawk. All right, so now that shooting back to the cleanup phase, Seth is saving the focus token again. So I know I gave Dave a shout out earlier for coming and saving me from, but big shout out as well. He didn't even have an opponent for tonight. His opponent was not able to make it, and he is actually playing Magic, and we pulled him over. So he ended up leaving his Magic game. Well, finished his Magic game quickly and play on. So big shout out to Seth as well, flying the scum ships. That phase is done. Let's see what's out there. Looks like Bosk has 2 strain tokens and a stress. Does a blue maneuver, he'll be able to clear that stress. He'll keep 1 strain, but Bosk doesn't really care about the strains. He's only got 1 evade anyways. Unlikely to get anything good out of that 1 dice result. So. Let's see, if Boss could do a 1 forward here, that seems like it'd be putting him in a pretty good position. It's going to be hard to get that thing turned around, though, later on. So we may want to go a little quicker, but realistically, he's not going to be having shots there. So he's going to want to try and slow that thing down as best he can. And really, everything right now is kind of right